Good afternoon, everyone. This is Steve Fletcher with the Trumpet for My People. Today is September 11th, 2019, and we're watching September 27th and 28th, 2019, the animal sacrifice on the Mount of Olives and the renewing of Noah's covenant. I encourage everyone to follow through with this entire video. Watch until the very end, because as I was putting together the information, the Lord showed me some amazing information, and it's all tied in together with the 70 weeks of Daniel, leading to the Abomination of Desolation. Amazing information, so I am going to share with you the way the Lord has helped me to put this together, all of this information about September 27th and 28th. The final blood moon of the tetrad was September 28th, 2015. That was a super moon, and it was the Feast of Tabernacles. Sorry about that. I had to pause the video because there's cars going by with their announcements in my little small town in Mexico here. So on September 28th, 2015 was the final blood moon of the lunar tetrad. It was a super moon over the Americas. And according to the parable of the fig tree, there is a 4-year time frame on the judgment of the fig tree. Okay, 2015, all eyes were on Israel. The blood moon tetrad focused on Israel, being that the blood moons were on Passover and Tabernacles. In the middle of the blood moon, there was a total solar eclipse on the Jewish New Year in 2015. So the parable of the fig tree enters based on the final blood moon. And so the parable of the fig tree is that the owner of the fig tree planted a tree, and after 3 years came back and wanted fruit. But the dresser of the vineyard asked the owner of the vineyard if he could have 1 more year to prune the tree, to prune the fig tree, and to do what was necessary to see if it could get more fruit. And it says, if it bear fruit, well; if not, then after that thou shalt cut it down. So we have a 3-year time frame and another year added to that. So from 2015, September 28th, 2015, and it's exactly 4 years to the day of the animal sacrifice on the Mount of Olives and the renewing of the covenant that is being made by 70 nations. From the abomination event when Barack Obama went and blasphemed the birthplace of Jesus Christ by not bowing in this holy place, he did not respect the Virgin Mary. He did not respect the birthplace of Jesus Christ. He did not show reverence. He did not bow. He did not kneel. He did not show any type of respect. From this moment, March 22nd, 2013, to Saturday, September 28th, 2019, is 6 years, 6 months, and 6 days. 666, the number of the beast, from the event of Obama blaspheming the birthplace of Jesus Christ. Now I'm going to share with you something that was sent to me by that last piece of information was sent to me by Dennis Grant, Facebook friend. Great piece of information. This piece of information was sent to me by Octavio Perez, another Facebook friend. And this is an amazing piece of information that's going to tie in together with a lot of things. So just listen to what I'm going to share with you. The longest rainbow in history, okay? The rainbow arched over northern Taiwan for nearly 9 hours. 8 hours and 58 minutes to be exact, making it the longest lasting rainbow on record according to the students and staff of Chinese Culture University in Taipei's mountains. This event took place on November 30th, 2017. I did a search on the longest rainbow in history, and this came right up. So if you want to search this, you can do this for yourself. Thursday, November 30th, 2017 to Friday, September 27th, 2019, the day they're doing the sacrifice on the Mount of Olives is 666 days. Okay, now what is the connection between a rainbow and 666 days? Well, it all ties into the reasoning of the conference. Okay, the reasoning of the conference and the animal sacrifice, the renewing the covenant of Noah, okay, and it all has to do with the covenant that God made with man after the flood of the rainbow. I now establish my covenant with you and your offspring to come, and with every living thing that is with you, birds, cattle, and every wild beast as well, and all that came out of the ark, every living thing on earth. I will maintain my covenant with you. Never again shall all flesh be cut off by the waters of a flood, and never again shall there be a flood to destroy the earth. So the sign of God was the rainbow. And they're wanting to renew the covenant of Noah. And 666 days before this event, there is the longest rainbow in history. Almost a 9-hour rainbow. Okay? So this is all connected. Now there's more that connects us with the days of Noah. The conference will also bring representatives of the 70 nations to the Temple Mount. The Sanhedrin composed a statement of purpose for the sacrifice. We, the offspring of those who exited the ark with Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, the representatives of the 70 nations ascended to the Temple Mount in order to pray to God to bring about the words of the prophets and to cancel out the judgment of the war of Gog and Magog. Okay, listen to this, guys. They believe that this conference and this animal sacrifice, the renewing of the covenant with Noah, will actually cancel out the judgment of the war of Gog and Magog. They do not know that this event will actually cause the war of Gog and Magog. This is a complete blasphemous event. The teaching behind it is completely erroneous. And when you understand the purpose of an animal sacrifice on the Mount of Olives, this is, I believe we are looking square in the eye at the event called the Abomination of Desolation. Matthew 24:15 tells us, when you see the Abomination of Desolation according to the book of Daniel. This is a complete and absolute rejection of the sacrifice of Christ on the cross. This is a worldwide, once and for all, final rejection of the sacrifice of Jesus Christ on the cross by them returning to animal sacrifices at the holy place according to the prophet Daniel. The abomination of desolation. We seek today to renew the eternal covenant God made with those who left the ark in order to prevent any flood or other forms of global catastrophe. This renewal of the covenant comes at a time when such dangers abound. It also seems that some men have forgotten their part in the covenant with God and their responsibilities. It goes on to say, a dove will be provided for the ceremony in commemoration of the dove sent out by Noah from the ark, which according to Jewish tradition brought an olive branch from the Mount of Olives. The dove and olive branch have come to be the universal symbol of peace, which emanates from Jerusalem, whose name means peace. May the light of the pure oil from the temple menorah once again light the world with justice and truth. This is all connected to the days of Noah, the renewing of the covenant with Noah, the animal sacrifice and the altar that Noah built upon exiting the ark, and it's connected also to the dove and to the olive branch. Okay? Now, this is all tied into the rainbow that was 666 days before this event, and it's connected by 7 days to the International Day of Peace. The Day of Peace from the United Nations has as its symbol the dove and the olive branch. So from the International Day of Peace, there is a 7-day warning to September 28th, when all throughout the world it is proclaimed peace and safety on the International Day of Peace, all connected to to Noah's Ark through the dove and the olive branch on the International Day of Peace. And it's a 7-day Noah warning, just as it was in the days of Noah. 7 days from now, I will send rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. I will wipe from the face of the earth every living creature I have made. Genesis 7:4, a 7-day warning to the beginning of the flood. It's also connected to 1 Thessalonians 5:3, which is the 153 fish. 1 Thessalonians 5:3, when they shall say peace and safety, sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So we have a declaration of peace and safety, the International Day of Peace and Safety, and within a 7-day time frame, sudden destruction. So as we are watching September 27th and 28th, 2019, there's an animal sacrifice plan on the Mount of Olives. It's the renewing of Noah's covenant. As it says in Matthew 24:15, when ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. Okay, Jesus spoke these words to his disciples. He was actually on the Mount of Olives when he spoke this. The whole Olivet discourse from Matthew 24 was spoken on the same location where this sacrifice is going to be taking place. And so Jesus gave us the signs of his coming from the Mount of Olives. And he said, when you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. Okay, so if we go to the book of Daniel and we want to understand, it says in Daniel 9:27, he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. Okay, so this is the beginning. This is the beginning of the week, the renewing of the covenant. The renewing of the covenant. In the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease for the overspreading of abominations. He shall make it desolate even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. So with the confirming of the covenant really is the kickoff event. And this is what they are doing. They are renewing the covenant of Noah. They're confirming the covenant. That's the exact wording they are using within this conference. They're committing the abomination of desolation, which is sacrificing animals and rejecting the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. And they're doing it at the holy place, which is the Mount of Olives. It's also the same location. If you study carefully, Mount Moriah was within the region of the Mount of Olives, and many people believe that Isaac was going to be sacrificed on the Mount of Olives. So this is all connected to prophecy that goes all the way back to the book of Genesis. Now, talking about a covenant of many for 1 week, okay, we don't know when, okay, if this is going to be the kickoff of the Great Tribulation, Is this going to be the timing of the kickoff of the Great Tribulation? We don't know if it's going to be on the 27th or the 28th, or maybe that is the beginning of a week-long event that will take us to 7 days later, the Feast of Trumpets on September 30th and October 1st. So we have a 7-day warning. Speaking of covenant with many for 1 week, if we look at the calendar, it takes us right up to the Feast of Trumpets, and October 8th and 9th is the Day of Atonement. So where is the rapture event going to take place? What we need to be concerned with right now is that Jesus told us, when you see the abomination of desolation, according to the prophet Daniel, this is the time that everybody's going to be fleeing. This is the time when the wrath of God is going to be poured out. This is the time when people are warned not to go back to their house to get their coat or to retrieve their stuff. This is the time when it is said, then there shall be great tribulation. Okay, so we need to understand, what are we looking at? What are we watching right now? What is happening? What is this event that's taking place? 70 nations sacrificing animals on the Mount of Olives, renewing the covenant of Noah. Okay? All right, now a couple more details that came to me, and this tied in one of the most amazing pieces of information I have ever seen about really a solid, this is leading us to the most solid biblical understanding of the 70 weeks of Daniel, leading us to the abomination of desolation. But look at what the Lord showed me and how I got there. Okay, I said, okay, look, we've been watching a lot of things for many years, so I wanted to see from Comet ISON what would be the time frame from Comet ISON. Okay, from Comet ISON, which had its perihelion event on November 28th, 2013. If we go to Saturday, September 28th, 2019, it's 70 months. 70 months, exactly. 70 months. And so as soon as I saw 70, I'm like, wow, 70 weeks are determined. 70 months from Comet ISON. 70 months to the day. Okay, 70 weeks are determined to finish the transgression, to make an end of sin, to make atonement for iniquity, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up the vision and the prophecy, and to anoint the most holy place. And so we have a prophecy that looks like the 70 weeks are going to tie everything together and bring us to the very end of our understanding. So from Comet ISON, we have 70 months. So as soon as I saw that there were 70 months from Comet ISON, I said, well, okay, let's look 70 weeks. Let's go back 70 weeks from what we are watching on September 28th, 2019. So I saw this. This is what I'm going to share with you as one of the most important pieces of information I can give you right here. Okay. May 20th, 2018, Sunday, May 20th, was the 6th of Sivan, which, according to the Hebrew calendar, this was Pentecost. Okay. This was the 70th Pentecost. Okay. Look at what I'm going to share with you right now. Okay, 70th Pentecost of Israel from the rebirth of Israel in 1948. The 70th Pentecost was May 20th, 2018. And if we go from there to the International Day of Peace on September 21st, 2019, it's exactly 490 days or 70 weeks. 70 weeks to the International Day of Peace, which is a 7-day warning. From the International Day of Peace, it's a 7-day warning to the sacrifice that is taking place on the Mount of Olives. So what we are looking at then is May 20th, 2018 is Pentecost number 70. So if we go from the 70th Pentecost and we add 70 weeks and 7 days, it brings us to September 28th, 2019. And what we have to understand within the 70 weeks is that the 70-week prophecy of Daniel leads us exactly to the event we are watching, the Abomination of Desolation. And this is why Jesus said in Matthew chapter 24, for those who think that we will not see this event, listen carefully to the words of Jesus Christ. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, according to the prophet Daniel. Matthew 24:15. He told his disciples to watch for this event. That this would be, according to the language in Matthew 24, this sounds to me like this is the kickoff event of the Great Tribulation. Okay. So 70 weeks of Daniel is the marker, the maximum marker, the absolute marker, the ultimate marker of from the rebirth of Israel to the abomination of desolation. 70 weeks are determined. And this all ties in together 70 Pentecosts plus 70 weeks plus 7 days. And I think this is one of the most amazing confirmations and pieces of proof that we could ever hope to see. We're looking at a 70-nation covenant to reject absolutely the sacrifice of Jesus Christ on the cross. This is an absolute rejection of the sacrifice of Christ by them bringing animals to the Mount of Olives to renew a covenant. The language of Daniel, the wording of Jesus, the time frame of everything else we are watching, 2 years from the Revelation 12 sign, and the 2-year marker from Herod when he sent to kill all the children 2 years old and under, based on the sign of the Magi. A 4-year delay of the parable of the fig tree. The 70 weeks and 70 years of Daniel. 70 months from Comet Ison. This is my report today, and I pray everyone is blessed. I really pray that all the other watchmen that watch my channel are able to see the importance of this warning and are able to continue sharing about the importance of this meeting that is coming up. And this could definitely mark the end, the very end of everything that we have been watching in the beginning of the Great Tribulation, the rapture of the church. And this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm called to watch and see and try to understand. And boy, this is an amazing piece of information. So I really hope everyone is blessed today. I thank you for listening. Thank you for taking the time to be with me this afternoon. I pray you're all blessed. This is Steve Fletcher with a trumpet for my people, the sign of his coming revealed.